Hello, welcome to Good Games Well Played, episode 265. I'm Clint, aka JCM. With us this week is Isli
Yo.
and Messiah.
Hello.
And not a ton this week. We had the D23 going on, so there was like a lot of movie stuff. There was some game stuff, coverage of like Wolverine, but that's
Mm.
coming out so soon. I'm not gonna focus on any of that really. There was some Kingdom Hearts stuff, like Coco showing off Coco in it and whatnot. And I guess there's gonna be like a
Oh.
Kingdom Hearts anime, but I,
Ugh.
I was
I,
like,
w-
okay.
I will admit the Coco world looked gorgeous. Like,
Mhm.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, well, I guess we'll talk about it when you guys play it when it comes out, if whenever it has a release date.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, not a whole lot of other news. So unfortunately, we have more layoffs with Until
Ugh.
Dawn developer Supermassive. They released that game Directive 8020, which I still need to play. Like, it's a game I want to play. I didn't play at the time because there was just too much.
That game's
So
cool.
it was one I didn't want to just again buy it and not play it immediately. I said, okay, I'll buy it when I'm going to play it eventually. But they laid
Mhm.
off up to 75 staff. I don't know about a third of their third round of job losses over the past couple years, but I don't know what percentage of their studio that is. But yeah, it's
They're not like
unfortunately
a huge studio, are they?
they're
They're
not
like
super
smaller,
huge, but I feel like
medium.
yeah, but I feel like they turn around projects pretty quick. I felt like,
Mm.
but yeah, maybe they just because they know their process so well, they know the engine. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's unfortunate they had to lay off some folks there, and then there's also some news that I forgot to save, but Netflix is also cutting two studios. One of them being the team that does the Oxenfree games. They're getting rid of them because they're
Jesus
like
Christ.
changing focus. I was trying to find the breakdown who the other studio was, but yeah, it's like okay, just they're like, oh yeah, oh here it is. It's Los Angeles based game studio Night School, which is again known for Oxenfree and Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals. And then they're also shutting down Moonloop, which is a game studio based in Finland, in Helsinki, which hasn't released any titles yet, but was working on an unannounced life sim project. So they didn't even get a release what they were working on.
Jesus.
Yeah, but as Night School like just released Unhinged, which was like a first person narrative driven horror game that was made in collaboration with Zach Kreger, which that came out on the end of June. That's that one where it's like you're in the hotel. It's got Sadie Sink and Zoe Kravitz, where you're like, they pick up the phone. I don't know if you've seen that one, and like they're running through the house. It's like an apartment building, like trying to get out, and the person on the phone's trying to tell them to, how to survive, kind of situation. Kind of reminds me of some of those visuals from OD from Kojima a little bit, like something going on. That's like a
Mhm.
choose your own adventure style game. But yeah, they're
Just
closing them down.
every freaking week at this point.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
truly feels like it's happening more frequently than it has historically, and I'm curious if that is a true statement or if it just is like, making the news cycles more. Because it feels like so many big studios are laying people off so frequently, and I don't remember it being like this in the past.
No, it's definitely a
It's
post
worse.
PS3, like and probably post PS4 era kind of stuff. Yeah, it definitely feels like it's way more now. Like you see, like yeah, you'd see some small like indie studios. Even though like the PS4 era was like a big indie era, so was the 360 era with Xbox Arcade. But yeah, I feel like even more so now, especially because those studios got gobbled up a lot of places. They Microsoft gobbles up a lot of studios. They grew and grew, so that's why they shutter so many. Other people get acquired by their places, and they get shut down. And or now it's much harder to get a new IP out there. It's like to find the right audience sometimes, and then you have to shut down, or you're making the same thing you used to, and maybe you have one where it's like you're just posting by, like you're doing just enough to recoup costs and make a little, keep doing it. But then the problem there is like if you have one that doesn't perform,
Mhm.
it's like, okay, this is harder to we don't have the war chest that like Nintendo has. So for the Supermassive, it could have been a case like, okay, you're not making Until Dawn, which was a Sony exclusive, so you got backing from them. But then you do your Dark Pictures anthology games. It's like, okay, not every one of those hit, but they were also smaller games, so dev time is probably less. The Quarry was, I think, a success, even though it didn't like have explosive numbers. But from everything I can see, people like that game. Like it got good reception.
Mhm.
And then it's like, yeah, they had that other one that they did where it was like a story tying game to I'm blanking on the name of the game, but it's like the hotel one. I forget what it was called. The Devil Knows Your Name or something like that.
Oh, The Devil in Me.
The Devil in Me. There we go. Like that one didn't do super well. And then Directive AE20 apparently had came out to mixed reviews. And so it's like,
I
okay,
thought
if
that game
that's
was
it's like
cool.
yeah, I know it looks cool and I really want to play it. And I know some people are like, oh, the acting's not there. It's like I don't that the acting was never like the perfect part of any of the Supermassive games. Like it was just fun to play. And
Mm-hmm.
I really want to play Directive AE20 because it's like, oh, it seems awesome. I really want to do this one. I just haven't yet. So yeah, it's like unfortunately if you can't, if you don't have a couple that are back to back, full successes, it's got to be hard to, recover from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least for, in the indie space. But yeah, that's unfortunate to see. But at least they're not like fully shut down. I'd be curious to know how again, because like we talked about, this is the third round of layoffs in 3 years. So it's like they've had, every time they have a set of, a couple releases that don't do well. Like in 2024 February, they laid off around 90 people.
Ugh.
And then they shed about 35 in July of last year. So, and they did report. Okay, here we go. I found some numbers. Reportedly, they had about 350 staff in 2023. So it looks like they're half that now. But yeah, so
It's crazy that it's affecting small studios too. It's not like, the news before was always like, oh, Sony or Bethesda or Microsoft or, Square Enix, all of these huge big name studios. You never really hear it from Nintendo because they don't ever talk to anybody. But like studios with less than 500 people, studios with less than 100 people, that's crazy.
yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. It's the casting of Frank Stone that was a Dead by Daylight spinoff. So and I forgot
Oh, I remember that.
they also did Little Nightmares 3, which I always forget. But yeah, it's like I feel like maybe they probably got too big after Until Dawn, the success there,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe they hired up too quickly. Like obviously they didn't immediately do Until Dawn 2, which probably would have been a Sony decision to begin with.
Yeah.
But then they started doing the Dark Pictures anthology, and it's probably like, okay, maybe we expanded too fast. Maybe we just needed to have those games in the development cycle longer, but maybe you didn't have that kind of luxury, depending on how much money you had left over from the success of Until Dawn, depending on the
Mm-hmm.
agreement you had with Sony on that. So yeah, it's rough. And then moving on from layoffs, we have updates on some delays for games. So we knew that Tomb Raider Catalyst was going to be delayed from 2027 to 2028. But now there has been, during a financial call that Embracer Group had, they mentioned that Tomb Raider Catalyst, the next Kingdom Come game from Warhorse, Darksider, and Darksiders 4 are going to be out during the 2028 financial year. That means they have to come out before April of 2028. So we could see Q1 Tomb Raider, which would make sense if the Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis comes out in February next year. They have February for Tomb Raider Catalyst as well. Also in here, I think is the next Metro game as well. Is supposed to be Metro 2039 is supposed to be in 2020 is February 2027 as well. But we'll see. So there's some updates there because I know we got delayed, but we didn't have a release date. At least it gives them some stuff. And then we haven't talked about this in a while, but many episodes ago we talked about like how there's not that many custom consoles anymore. And there was a stretch there where Sony was doing like custom faceplates for the PS5. But then once they redesigned it with like the slit, like the cut in the frame, you didn't really see it anymore. It's like, okay, well now it's like it's two parts, it's multiple pieces. So
I feel
how
like
are you
they
gonna do that?
literally redesigned it with the intent of doing custom faceplates, and then they just didn't.
Yeah,
Yep.
well now they announced it for Wolverine, a Wolverine limited edition. But the problem is they only made faceplates for the redesign. They don't have faceplates for the OG PS5. And I'm like, why? What is it that hard to make them? Like that's going to be the bulk of your sales were the original design. Why not release them? So it's really annoying because I'm like it's pretty decent design, but I was like I went to their website. I was like, okay, maybe it's just they're not showing it in marketing. It's like, nope, it's only the new ones. I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing? So it was just
I
weird that
mean, I'm
they
not
would.
very surprised at my.
Yeah, I suppose the production lines they switched because you switch over to the new console. You're not gonna keep the production line for the old one. I'm like, well, what if people need repairs for one under warranty or something? You got to make one. Maybe they have like a small, but not one that's designed for mass production, I suppose. Or even do like little one-offs, like, oh, you can get the old one. It might take a little longer because it's special order, but it costs like, couple, $10 more or something.
hmm
Just give the option. It's just weird that it's like, okay, well, I guess I could never have get custom plates, but whatever. Just something interesting. So I was like, they have it because I feel like Spider-Man was the last custom one, and then did God of War Ragnarok have a custom PS5? I don't remember.
A
I think
custom. No.
I think the
The first God
PS4
of War
for
had
God
the
of War did.
PS4. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that one, but I don't remember anything for Ragnarok. Unless it was
Let's see.
like, it was just like a faceplate. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah, I think you can still buy the PS5 covers. Let's see. Oh, nope. It looks like the covers all got replaced with the new one. Yep, I was trying to see if they still had the old, like, buy those other covers. Oh, wait. You can
So
get
you
the
can't
black.
even buy the. Oh.
So it looks like only black. So the techno
Uh,
red, the green, the light blue, the dark blue, and both versions of the red. So like volcanic red is like all red, but then techno red, it has a gradient up to black. It actually looks really good. I like the techno red gradient. It looks really cool. But they do have the black covers, probably because they want to leave them since D brand made the black ones. And like, okay,
hmm
and maybe they don't offer black. Is there a buy option?
Can I even buy
I,
these things?
I don't see the buy option on here. Yeah, if I click on it, like the buy option goes away, so maybe they don't even have it anymore. I wonder if there's any like third parties that have them or something, because there still are some Oh my god, these are the full consoles. This isn't what I want. I'm sure maybe someone has them. You just can't buy them direct from Sony. But yeah, it's annoying. It's like, okay, can't get any more custom plates because they were like so easy to swap in and out. Whatever. I mean, same thing happened with like the PS4, right? They used to have those. I had a Bloodborne PS4 plate that I bought from the PlayStation Experience because I thought it was really cool, but I wasn't gonna put it on my console. But then once they redesigned the PS4, it's like, okay, well, I can't put it on the new ones. That's not unprecedented. It's just annoying that you have a console that's like you said, designed in such a way that made it super easy to customize
hmm
that you can't do it anymore. It's like, okay, well, D brand skin it is, I guess. But yeah,
Hey, we did this thing and tried to put this thing out of business because they're like moving in on our territory, but now you can't do that anymore. So you might as well go back to that business.
yeah,
What are we doing?
annoying. And then moving on from there, I thought this was funny. Where so Asha Sharma went to go to Xbox earlier this week to look at Elder Scrolls 6, like a demo. They tweeted about it, whatever. But
hmm
members of the CWA, which is the union there, made up a bunch of former and current Bethesda staff, set up this giant inflatable rat outside the studio to protest Karma visiting, which I thought was really funny. Like that's got to be crazy,
Why?
man.
Why? Why?
Because the
Why not?
layoffs. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so we're protesting the layoffs that have happened. It's like if leadership's going to go to them, it's like that's a good way to make a statement. Like they can't not see it. Like this giant is like, who's the rat? Microsoft is what they're chanting outside. I'm like, okay, good way to do it. Be like, we're not happy with the way you're doing stuff.
The only downfall there is that rats are awesome. So that's unfortunate. But I like that it is a giant rat.
It's a good
Yeah,
protest thing. It's just kind of like it's a little funny.
I think the rat's name is Scrappy
Aw.
or something like that. I'm trying to Scabby, sorry, a Scabby the rat.
Aw.
And it's a infamous inflatable rat. Apparently, it's appeared in numerous employee protests. So yeah, it's not something new. It's something they've had for a while. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. And then not too much else. So I saw this story about. So none of us play Terraria, but there was a giant mod for it that was called. Okay, here a calamity. It's like this calamity mod. It's a massive mod that expands the game. It's got additional bosses, biomes, items, music. It's like an unofficial driven expansion to the game. Like it
Mhm.
for all intents and purposes, it seems like it's once you do the base game, it's like the mod to install. Like to play going forward, it's like, okay, you want this.
Yeah.
And it's been in development for a while now, but the development team behind it is shutting down the mod because leadership at their in their group has some sexual misconduct allegations against them, and so they don't want anything to do
God.
with it anymore. So what I thought was interesting was that you've had this mod that's been out there for a while that the Terraria fans love, and then you have leadership do these, allegedly do these terrible things. They're like, okay, we're gonna cease development, but they also are removing the mod entirely, which I thought was interesting, instead of just leaving it as is for the people who have like been using it. So it's I just thought it was weird from a place of, okay, if you have the mod installed, because I can't tell from the article, if you have the mod installed or downloaded locally, will it stay there? Because they
Mm.
also, a lot of people they want all their assets removed that they worked on because they don't want any association with this anymore because of the leadership issues. All it goes back to other stuff at the development team saying like, hey, there's supposed to be changes. It never happened, yada yada, a lot of this. So we're unhappy about that. So we just want it all pulled. That's what we settled on. So I'm wondering if because it's a mod, if it had some sort of ping to a server or something to make sure that it was okay, like some sort of mod check. Because that's like how
Mod
Steam
check.
does that. It'll do like a mod check whenever I launch like.
Is this a free mod or is this a paid thing?
I can't tell because it doesn't say if it's I'm assuming it's free because like all the big mods that I use for like auction not included are free, and it seems like I can't see anything in here about it being paid mod because there were some streamers that came in and said they would volunteer to buy the mod from the development team, but they said no. That are like we don't want to do that. Yeah, so I thought it was interesting. I'm like, okay, if there's mod checks in place, like is Terraria only is I'm assuming Terraria is through Steam, like there's no standalone
Uh,
launcher for it. Like I'm not familiar with the game, which is why I was asking pre-show.
I don't remember actually. I didn't play it on Steam.
And
I guess I don't know.
I
Yeah, 'cause
think
I was gonna say
we
if
played it through Steam, so yes and no.
yeah, yeah, because I guess if it's on Steam, you could pull it there, and then when the game runs the mod check, because I guess you could do Steam offline, but the mod check will still have to go, I believe, to make sure there's compatibility, especially if the game. I have it with like my Auction Not Included ones. Like, okay, I launch the game, it checks all the mods to make sure they got recent patches to make sure those if the game had an update and the patches become or the mods are no longer compatible. They have to get their own updates to, for the new main game update. It checks them, downloads, refreshes, relaunches the game. Like it's a big old, check. I'm assuming something similar happens with Terraria. So yeah, I was just thinking about it, like, okay, what about the people who are playing the game who had no idea any of this is going on, and then suddenly it's just gone. Like you go to boot the game, like okay, that there was it was a very interesting case where I don't think I've seen that before.
The concept of just pulling stuff like that is always just interesting to me. Like I know it happens, but yeah, it would be interesting if they can just delete it if people have it downloaded already. Which I guess we don't know if that's the case or not, but
Yeah, because if it's through like Nexus mods, yeah, I'm wondering. Let me search this. I'm searching the Steam Workshop to see if um someone yeah, people are already releasing frustration with the developer or the leader who's causing the problems. Okay.
Hmm.
So it seems like yeah, there's a lot of stuff up here still, like the Calamity HD scenery are still up, Vanilla Calamity music pack. So all the packs are here. So I'm wondering if yeah, I'm wondering if they're all just piecemeal bits and then everybody pulls them one by one. Yeah, I wonder if that's gonna be the case. But yeah, it was just an interesting bit because like I get it. I don't want to be my work to be associated with this person anymore. But
Yeah.
it was just a
it's
oh
I find that a little weird though, because it's just kind of like the people playing the mod are never going to be like, oh, you worked on the assets here, like you're a horrible person too. It would largely be an unknown thing, and I don't know, it's kind of like erasing your legacy.
yeah, which is why I was asking, like, do you guys play any games, before the show, like with the big mod? 'Cause I was trying to think, like, if I played a game with a mod and I had like I replayed when I replayed Fallout 4, I downloaded a bunch of. I was like, okay, let's look at a bunch of mods. Or if I did like there's so bunch of mods for like Baldur's Gate, and it's like, okay, what if every time I replay Baldur's Gate, it's like here are YouTube top 5 essential quality of life mods, and then I use them, and like I only play like I do that with Auction Not Included. I have a lot of the mods I play with on there. I'm like, oh, these are great mods. If suddenly they were just gone, I was like, what the hell? I'm so used to this mod that was this quality of, and this isn't even quality of life. It's just like it's full on content, and then it's just like gone. Like I had no idea about this thing until this happened, but stories about this issues with the development team have, I guess, been around, but I didn't hear about it until now. So like, but again, I'm not in the Terraria world, so that's a different thing. But if I got into it and be like, hey, what mod should I get? Oh, get the Calamity mod. Yada yada. It's crazy to see content just go away. But I
Well,
get it.
and for games like that where like the modding community and just like this community support is such a big thing anyway, it's like, yeah, people who just play it casually and aren't really like a part of the community and all this extra stuff aren't really gonna know any of this. But for like the people who are part of the community who make mods and support mods and like test mods and showcase them and stuff like that, it's like it's kind of a big thing that it just gets pulled and people are pulling all of their like support for it and everything like that. It's like you have to figure too, if people are in the community enough to like know that this is going on and know the people that are pulling the mods and pulling their assets and everything like that, they're not people that are gonna be like, oh, you were part of this project and now
Mhm.
your work is tainted kind of thing. It's like, oh, I understand that you're pulling your assets and now I'm going to follow whatever like thing you do next kind of thing.
Yeah, if it was content that you like really enjoyed. Yeah, because this
Also,
has
Hmm.
been good.
are mods protected property? Like, could someone else just upload the same mod again, or are mods like protected copyright stuff? Because
I
Mm,
people
think
make it, but it's based on someone
they're
else's
not.
like.
It's not paid for. You don't pay for the mods, and it's using assets of someone else's IP. So I don't. I think it. I don't think it's because there's a lot of mods like in Auction Not Included where it's like, oh, here's a mod, and someone takes that and like makes a better version of it, um, or something. It's like okay, and that one becomes more popular. It's like okay, you had an like you come up with an idea, and then I improve upon it, but because like if we were both modders for something and you had a mod and then I tweaked it and said like, oh hey, I made this change, I could talk to you directly, be like, yo, you should add this update to your mod to make it better in this way because the mod's already active. So you can just, patch it, do whatever. But because just individual people, it'd be like, okay, this person did a mod, I like it, I want to improve on it, make a mod and you can pick it out there. And it's just I'm sure there's probably something in the modding community where it's like, stolen valor kind of situation where it's like, oh, it's bad, it's
it's
frowned
a
upon to just do it, but
Yeah, it's like an honor system kind of
yeah.
thing. You'll see people, I mean, in particular, obviously with the Final Fantasy 14 modding community, it's like you see a mod and it's like they're just saying, hey, please don't upload this anywhere else other than here because a lot of it has to do too with like, malicious injection and stuff like that. So it's like
Hmm.
if you download my mod from anywhere but here, I'm not responsible for anything that happens to it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's also just like hey, don't steal my thing and upload it to your thing without crediting me or like saying that it's yours kind of thing. And if
Yeah.
somebody does take that mod as like a base and adds onto it, it's usually considered like good etiquette and proper ethics to credit the original mod maker and specifically say like this is the base mod that I used and that sort of thing. So you see that a lot with like again with Final Fantasy 14 specifically because you have like the base body mods and then you have like clothing mods and stuff. So it's like, oh, I used the base body mod to make this clothing mod, or I used the base face mod to make this and stuff like that. So it's fully an honor system kind of thing. So.
Yeah. The other problem I find, like going back to honor system, is like there's no way for me to know. Like I'm looking at like I'm on the Steam page for Terraria in the Steam Workshop. I just typed in Calamity as the filter, and I get okay. Here's the Calamity Mod Hammer Zenith came out in 2021. It's like okay, here's the Mod Hammer 1.1. It says like it's by 19. I see a mod that's by Esquico, by Skeletor, by Ordinary Cat, and I like these names mean nothing to me. Like there's no
Mhm.
official like, okay, we're all people a part of this. Do you just release them on your own? Like, oh, here's a weapons pack, here's a music pack, like there's no way for me to know, are these people who are part of the Calamity team, or are these people who are just fans of the game who are doing little additive things? Like what's going on there? Like is that possible? So it's like I can't tell. I guess what I'm getting at. It's like it's there's no way to filter like just show me from folks who have some sort of bio tag in their Steam profile to show that hey, they're part of the official group that have been working on this or something. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, yeah, and so far it seems like okay, so, like they haven't officially pulled anything yet, but people have expressed their want to pull stuff they worked on. So it'll be curious to see like okay, yeah, it stops, it's still there, bugs and all, I guess. So you could still play it. It's not going away. It remains accessible on Steam Workshop currently. In the state it is. It just won't have any future updates. So it's but they have, again, going back to the people who want their stuff taken now, it's like, okay, how much of it is going to be gone? And then yeah, we'll see. It's just interesting. interesting case. Especially again, something that's been in development for 10 years is crazy for a mod.
I think the other part of this that's kind of like interesting to me is, do you really think they're the only horrible people that you've worked with on that team? Like, statistically,
Hmm.
I'm sure there are many people on that team that are not great humans. So I don't know. I'm not like condoning anything. It just is a little bit like a little performative.
I
A little bit, yeah.
a little bit sure, but yeah, it was like, and I'm not going to go into details for the reason for this misconduct for this one because it's a little like okay. But it's like I can see this one like for sure, like okay, like it's
Do I need to look up what the accusations actually are? Is it really bad? It's probably really bad, based on your
yeah,
response.
it's really bad.
It's really bad.
Yeah, yeah, so I wouldn't yeah, don't align yourself with the people. So I get why they do this one for again sexual misconduct allegations.
Okay, I just googled it. I
Okay.
would maybe want my work pulled from this.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Wow. Sorry, I'm just going down this rabbit hole now. This has been known about for years. What?
yeah, and well, it's what's
Hmm.
crazy is again going back, like the previous leader in 2022 had was similarly accused of grooming, and it's like okay, so and it was a repeat issue across multiple leaders, allegedly a repeat issue across multiple leaders. So it's like, what is it about leadership there that
Dude.
your guys are
Yeah,
just getting?
I retract my statement. I would maybe want my work pulled from this, but maybe they can
Yeah.
like. Hey, this goes back to like I don't super know how the mods work, but like, can you reassemble it and package it under a different name that's not involved with them? Like,
I mean,
And
yeah,
I'm
technically you could, but
you're still
if
inspired by some. Yeah.
yeah, it's still the people in the community are going to know, and it's a little bit tainted, so they're going to be like suspicious of whoever's uploading it.
Mhm.
But I guess if like, the people who pulled their work for, ethical reasons are like, hey, we're going to band together and just kind of put it back up. And so it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, these people pulled
kind of
out of
what
the
I mean of
project.
like, would
Yeah.
you pull it and you put it back up under your own work, and it's like, hey, we're not associated with this anymore, but we didn't want to pull content from people or like something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was gonna the one thing I don't know how often Terraria is being updated. It's an old game, but it's like yeah, if there is an update that just like makes the main mod that's still available uncompatible, and you can only play the old version if you want to keep it alive. Like that's like for people who know how to do that, they can do that. But for the other people who are just playing the game casually and have no idea what's going on, they just heard about this cool mod from their friend. Like oh well, play now because Terraria updated.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just a interesting situation that I've never
I'm
seen.
curious if the developers will actually respond to that at all. Of like, I guess you can't like disallow certain mods, but yeah, curious about that.
It's
Yeah.
kind of a minefield for devs to acknowledge modding communities if they're not like, if they haven't done it from the start, because it's just like with larger games that have very active modding communities, even if they acknowledge it, they're like, we're acknowledging that this is happening, and as long as you behave, we're not going to come after you, kind of thing. But you are technically like modifying and messing with somebody's content and copyright kind of thing. So it's like it's a very muddy kind of thing. So when devs bring attention to the modding communities, it can be a little messy. So sometimes they'll just be like, we choose not to perceive kind of thing. But maybe in the
Yeah.
background they're kind of like, hey, figure it out, okay? Because now you're affecting like the game's base image kind of thing. If
And
this
it
gets
also
too big and too crazy.
set precedent, right, for a developer, going in and removing a mod versus like the mods being, quote unquote policed by the platform, like
Yeah.
if they came out and there was a bunch of hate speech mods for Terraria, it's like, well, Steam feels like they should be the ones to step in because that's hate speech content on their platform versus it
Hmm.
being, Terraria stepping like they should do that. But yeah, it's gotta be rough, especially for the people who like, again, in the same situation for layoffs. It's like the people who aren't making these big old business decisions that are causing that are bad for the company that cause them having to lay off people at these studios. Where it's like, yeah, they were just having fun making mods for a game that they love, like,
Hmm.
and then it's like, okay, we've just had a run of shitty leadership, so we've decided just to stop altogether. Like that's got to be, again, after 10 years,
That's kind
tough.
of what I was getting at. Is like the people making it aren't the ones that did the allegations. It's the senior leadership. Like you can still appreciate the mod and think it's a good mod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that especially because like how much, aside from maybe the beginning, how much did leadership actually, they're making decisions, they're not developing something, most
Right.
likely an asset. But yeah, it's like in art from the artist situation. That's gotta be tough. But yeah,
In this case, the artists also aren't the ones that did it really.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, art from the
It's
studio.
the art and the artists from the artist's boss.
Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the news. Not too much else. Compulsion Games has officially completed their split from Xbox, since they are now self-listed as the publisher for South of Midnight on Steam. So that's officially done. But yeah, not too much else video game wise in the news. Just people making random comments about certain games. Like I said, previous for Wolverine that comes out soon, so we don't need to cover it. Oh wait, yeah, that's right. The one thing that did happen was it doesn't affect too many people on this call except me. Is the delay of Dawn of War or not Dawn of War? One of the Warhammer games got delayed to December. It's either Dawn of War 4 or it was Total War Warhammer. Got delayed. One of them got pushed out a couple months. I'm trying to look up to see which one it was. But yeah, they got delayed a couple months just for more dev time. It's like, okay, it'll still be this year, so at least I'll be able to play it then. Yeah, I was a little bummed because I was like, man, it was supposed to come out soon. Yeah, it was Dawn of War 4. It was like it was gonna come out in September, but now it got pushed to December 3rd. So I'll wait for that. Yeah, because Total War doesn't have a release date. But yeah, aside from that, not too much else. Again, kind of a quiet week with just small bits of news, not a whole lot of big pieces that have come out. So we can go ahead and move on to what we've been playing. Go ahead and start with, because we didn't play Peak together. I guess we'll probably each have individual stuff. So I'll go ahead and start with you. You had mentioned last week that you started Talos 1. And you've continued replaying Talos Principle 1?
Yeah, so I beat Talos Principle II, and really enjoyed it. And then I was like, without getting too spoilery, like one of the main comments that I do think is valid about Talos Principle II is I do think in general the puzzles are easier than Talos Principle 1. Like I do feel like with the exception of some of the lost level puzzles and some of the Golden Gate puzzles, the like base game puzzles are not particularly challenging. Um, there are like a few that stump me, but generally it's like you can kind of identify what you need to do within like 10 seconds. And it's like, oh, the only way I can open this gate is by this. Clearly I need to do this to this. Like it follows too obvious of a train of logic, I think, sometimes in Talos Principle 2. So I still really enjoyed it, but then I started playing some of the DLC levels, which are much better. And then I wanted to go back to Talos Principle 1 because I was like, am I just clouded by nostalgia? And I wanted to see if in Talos Principle 1, if the puzzles were actually harder, or if it's just because after playing the first game, you're already used to the mechanics. So you already like kind of understand how the world works, and thus it's easier in the sequel. So I started Talos Principle 1 again, and I was kind of playing through it, and I'm like, damn, Talos Principle 1 is the better game between the two. The puzzles genuinely are trickier. Like, I still made it through a lot of them pretty quick, but I do think they are trickier puzzles. And I actually really appreciate that the world is smaller, and I really appreciate the voiceover of Elohim and everyone being part of the game as opposed to like the separate hub you have to explore. So it's like they did expand Talos Principle 2 a lot, and I replaying Talos Principle 1 right after, I'm like, the differences are pretty stark, and I'm not sure it was the correct choice in a lot of instances. So yeah, I'm playing through 1 again and enjoying it more than playing through 2, which I did enjoy, but the differences are pretty obvious when you play them back to back like that, and not in a great way.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like maybe I wonder if there was like a change in creative director. I don't follow the studio close enough, so I'm not sure. Or if it was just like, you know what, I really want to tell a more kind of expand on the story and go a little more. And it was just like, whose decision was it to go that way, or was like the studio want to do that? Like, did they want to get more, I would say like
It's
philosophical, but whose
I mean, the
decision was
first
behind
game's
the
pretty
change?
philosophical too, though.
Right,
Like,
but it's more you're not as interrupted. Like, why did
right.
they want to do this route?
Yeah. So, like, when you take things by themselves in the second game, I feel like they kind of work and are still high quality. Like, I do think the story is more philosophical and longer and a bit more developed than the first game. In the second game, I think the puzzles, while easier, are more developed. The graphics and everything are fantastic in the second game. Like when you take them all part by part, it kind of works, but it's almost the way they put them all together just doesn't click as well as the first game. Like the whole having to run around giant hub worlds without really that much to do in the hub worlds is kind of strange. So, with the exception of like the star puzzles, which require like the hub worlds, um, there's not really that much going on in them, uh, which is kind of a shame. It's like why design something so big, but then so empty? And I was kind of hoping the DLC would maybe like the DLC for the first game is like integrated into the game. It's not like separate menus or separate hubs. They kind of like wove it into the main game itself. And I kind of wish they did that with the DLC in Talos Principle 2 somehow, of like, if you have the DLC, maybe the puzzles should pop up as part of like the overworld and like be integrated into each hub or like something like that. But I I think that each part is good in Talos Principle 2, but the whole is not as tight or as well designed as in 1.
Yeah, the big open worlds, talked about a lot. Like I'm, not open worlds, open areas. It's like yeah, I feel like okay, are we just big to be big? Like luckily you can run pretty fast, which is nice. But yeah, why have them be so? Because in the first one, isn't it like because the game starts because you're still in the system before you're finishing your trial to get into the robot, and isn't it like it was like you go in and it's like a hub and like there's puzzle 1 2 3 and then 4 5 6 like all in like a central like lobby almost, and then you just go to the one on the left and it's like okay there it is, and then this one and this one. It's more compact, right? It's like it's pretty
The first game is kind of similar in structure to like the prologue of 2, where you still have to run around a little bit, but like if you remember the prologue of 2, it's in the like kind of
right.
sandy area and you do
Yeah,
like
the
one
Egyptian
puzzle
zone.
opens, yeah, like the Egyptian zone. It's more like that. So it's
Yeah,
still a little bit of running around, but it's not
but not nearly
like
as much.
yeah, not nearly as much. And then I think the benefit of doing it like that, which makes Talos Principle 1's overworld puzzles much more interesting, is you have the star puzzles in 1, but the star puzzles in 1 require you to do things in all of the like world puzzles to interact with each other and like break bounds. But in 2, the puzzles are so far away from each other that there's no like interacting really. There's a few unique cases, but like in general, the star puzzles are mostly like here's a totally separate puzzle you have to solve as part of the overworld, and maybe it interacts with like one thing, but it's not, do 6 tiny things and 6 small puzzles that are close to each other to open up this door, which was really good about 1. So it's like they just kind of lost some of the like finesse or good design in 1 that existed in an effort to make the world and the hub bigger. And I'm not sure
Hmm.
the trade-offs were worth it because I don't think that making it bigger really did anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, it's interesting, but I like some of the open areas too. I'm like, oh, this is fun. I like running around, but it's like sometimes I'm like, okay, this is a little too big, especially because like, don't you? I don't know if you have to, but do you need to do the puzzles? You don't need to do the puzzles in order in two, right?
No, you don't have to
Kind of
do the puzzles in any
okay.
particular order. You
It
don't
kind of
even have to
it
do all the puzzles because you just have to do 8
right,
of
right.
each
Yeah,
world.
the last ones count as two. I always do them all because I want to do them all. I'm like, oh, I'll get them all done. But yeah, it's like, oh, here's puzzle one. It's way over here. There's puzzle two. It's way over there. And then it's like, oh, there's a question mark on the map. The one I think about a lot too is that there was one where it's like an island. It's got the center like spiky ball thing. It's like this. I think it's the second zone you go to, and it's like you have to go so far to find stuff. It's like, oh, what's going on? Why is this so big? But I do like running around open areas sometimes, but then other times I'll just be like, okay, can we just make these a little closer, please? Like it's
I
a little.
I think for me, it's just like if I'm gonna run around an open area, I want a reason why. I want there
Hmm.
to be a ton of like cool little things I can find, and that's not really how this game worked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's definitely it's still gonna be a thing that frustrates me, and just again the breakup of oh you did one side of the pyramid, now you gotta stop, you gotta talk about something, you gotta fly to the pyramid, and I'm it's like okay we're flying like in real time. I'm like I wish I could skip this and just get there. You don't have to fly. Like it's cool that you're doing this. It's fun, but I just get me inside the pyramid, please. Especially because you have a loading screen as soon as you fly through the entrance. It does a
Well,
quick load.
and the skip like sometimes works, but also I don't know if you had this issue of sometimes if you like push another button in between or something, it breaks the skip button and you just like can't skip anymore and you have to sit there and watch it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little rough, but yeah, I don't know if I'll go back and replay one because I did have some issues with one. I like how because I like how many mechanics are in two so far. Like I just got the area I stopped at the other night was I'm in Act 4, and I stopped in the like spoilers you freed Prometheus, which is so weird. Like wow, they're really doing this Tetramino puzzle like all over this part of the pyramid. I'm like, okay. But I got to the next part. It has like the mechanic there they introduced, at least in the first zone I went to, was like the floating platform. Okay, this platform can float. It follows a path. It can hit the button. Interesting. Okay, but I stopped there. I haven't gone back. I only played for days this week, but so I still have that to finish off. I'll probably finish it this week so I can have my well, depending on how much stuff there is after I do everything. But yeah, it'll be interesting to get my final thoughts on the. I kind of wish I finished at the same time as you did. If I had more time to this week to play it, I probably could have. I had some other stuff I had to do. But
Are you going to
but
play the
overall,
DLC or are you just doing the main story?
um, I'll probably just do the MSQ. I didn't do the DLC for the first one either. There was let's see, DLC. Road to Elysium, $20. I mean, is it good? Are the puzzles good at least?
It's decent. I haven't finished all of the DLC, so maybe I'll withhold that.
Okay. Like it says, reunite with beloved characters. Brother, don't care about the story. But
Aw.
like there's some bits that's interesting. There's like
Beloved who?
yeah, beloved who like when they talk about like she's yeah, the daughter dies because something goes wrong. It's like okay, well you didn't follow the instructions or something. I don't know. It's like okay, they're dead. I get that. And now it's like okay, I want to kind of stop this. I'm concerned that this technology probably it's too advanced. We've learned the secret of the universe, but we still haven't mastered what is here. So we got to block it all off. That's why they have the whole Prometheus giving fire to the humans story going on. And it seems like it's leading to do you want to allow everybody in back home to have access to all this stuff or not? And you're probably gonna make like a decision or something at the end. But yeah, yeah, I like the puzzles. I just everything else is a little frustrating. Pull me out of it
Kind of
too
the same
much.
way of I tend to agree, having played more of like, yeah, it's not bad. It's just like the puzzles are the best part, and the stuff you added just doesn't really add that much.
Yep. Yeah, they're great puzzles. I like doing even if like I said, even if you can sight read them kind of quick. I wish I could remember back to when I played Talos 1 because the problem there is like it was the first. So it was like learning the mechanics. We're playing this. I'm like, oh, well, I'm aware of all the basic mechanics of the game. It's just they
Well,
introduce new things. Like, okay,
but that's what I meant is like, do you sight read the puzzles faster in two because you're used to the mechanics? And you do sight read the puzzles faster in two because of the mechanics, and I do think they are easier puzzles. So it's like you sight read the puzzles way faster, even like ignoring the fact that you've already learned the mechanics. I think you sight read the puzzles way faster in two.
yeah. They are doing the thing I didn't like from one where you're leapfrogging stuff, which I don't like because that to me doesn't make for good puzzle solving. I really dislike leapfrogging items.
Where you're
I think
just
it's
trying to like get in like a single item further and further into a puzzle via
yeah,
like
so it's
gate
like
checks
okay,
or something.
yeah, okay, I use the jammer to get the gate to then get this thing to bring out so I can keep the gate open so I could take the jammer to the next spot to jam the gate so I can grab this disruptor to take over here to get off the jammer to take it over here and like you're leapfrogging this one item using other items because in one it was bad because it was always you're leapfrogging like two things. It was never like it there wasn't enough variety. Like the benefit of two is at least there's a variety. So I'm leapfrogging items, but the mechanics of each item is different. So what I'm doing within that leapfrog process is different. Like, oh, I'm making a tunnel. I'm jamming the thing. I'm getting a laser converter that keeps this open. I'm doing this thing. Yeah, I'm making a tunnel that, the gravity tunnel or something. So it's like I'm still leapfrogging. That's still a mechanic, but I'm just using different items, so it's not as obvious, and it's a little more. At least it's a little more varied versus one where it's like, oh, I have the jammer to leapfrog to get the laser beam, to leapfrog the jammer, to leapfrog the laser beam, to leapfrog. It's like that shit pisses me off. I'm like, this isn't good design. This is filler. This is not fun. Like this is bad. You should never do puzzles like this ever. I don't think anybody's had a good time doing puzzles like that. But at least in 2, it's varied. So it's like, yeah, you're leapfrogging, but each step of that path is slightly different. And sometimes it can that can be part of the puzzle too. It's like, okay, I know I have to leapfrog, but what step do I need to do to get there? And that can be more fun than it ever was in Talos 1. Even though I still they do it more, I feel like, from what I remember in 1. In 2, because they have so many new
Dude, I don't
mechanics.
know. I think 2 might do the leapfrog more. I feel like that's every single puzzle in 2 is either leapfrog or it's only a one-step puzzle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they do it more in 2. I feel like they don't do it as much in 1 because they have less mechanics. But when they do it in 1, it's so much more annoying because it's longer. Like there's the infamous one I remember is it's a U-shape arena and you have to go through like 1,000 gates leapfrogging to get one thing to take back, and it's like this isn't fun. And like that one stands out to me the most. Like I always remember that puzzle. But yeah, at least like I said, because of the variety of items, I can forgive the aspect because now that's the puzzles. Like sometimes it's not always like, oh, I need to use this, but maybe you're using that thing to get to step 3 and then doing, step 2 the same way and then kind of moving around. So at least I'm more forgiving, even though I'm not a fan of leapfrogging. Because we have so many fun mechanics within Talos Principle too. I look forward to playing more of it and getting it done and seeing like doing the gold doors and stuff once I figure that one out. And then yeah, maybe I'll do this. You have to let me know if the DLC's worth it. I'll probably add it to my wish list because I don't know if I want to spend $20 to do a 3-part DLC that has like way too much
If it's only average
story.
or something. Yeah, I'll let you know how it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because like the DLC in 1 added story, but in a good way.
Hmm.
So it does feel like they lost that. And they lost Talos Principle 1 is way more sarcastic and has like way more dark humor moments that is just entirely absent in 2. And I'm realizing I like kind of missed that about 1 where it was like I think they were clearly trying to go for, GLaDOS mocking you off the success of like Portal and everything, but 2 just doesn't really have any of that.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on from Talos to Zaya. Zaya, we didn't have a chance to play Big Walk, so we haven't played that.
No.
But you've been playing more Project Zomboid.
Yeah, we've been playing a lot of Project Zomboid, usually like an hour or 2 every night, and we played like all day yesterday. We've been playing it a lot, so I've died a
Nice.
lot, aggravatingly, but it's fun. I
Fun game.
was
Okay, good.
I was telling Michael yesterday. He was like, "Oh, well, I'm glad you like playing it, and we're playing it together and stuff." And I was like, "I'm basically this is my game. I go collect shit, and then I craft it into other shit, and then I go get more shit, and then I craft better things. And this is
Hmm.
basically like a me game loop kind of thing." And I joked, I was like, "I'm doing literally the same thing in this game that I'm doing in Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Like I go get things and I craft things, and then I go do things with those things." It's just the same
Yeah.
thing. It's just go collect and craft in just 2 very different settings. There's a lot of blood and death in this one and not so much in Hello Kitty, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
A lot of stupid thing. I fell in a hole yesterday, and there's this really cool thing about this game where there's ladders, but you can't climb them. So there was a ladder in the hole and I couldn't climb out of it, so I just had to wait for him to come rescue me,
Why
and I
can
had
you
to
not
like
climb the ladders?
I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
so weird.
I don't know. But I was in
That's
a
really funny.
construction site and I was like, okay, I don't see stairs. There's just a ladder here. So I'm just going to look around trying to look for a sledgehammer. Oops, I fell down and now I'm trapped. So he had to come. And then I had to log out because we had to figure out how
What do
to
you
craft a
what do you
thing
do if
to
you're
put a.
can
Uh-huh.
you play this game single player? Like what do you do if you fall in and
Yeah.
it's single player? You just dead?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
I guess so. Because he had to come. It was this whole thing. He had to come and craft like a piece of wall and put it on the side and then nail a rope to it so that it could hang down and I could climb out of the whole thing. And it was just very incredibly stupid.
A whole thing.
It was a whole thing. And that's not even like
That's right.
the thing that I was talking about in Discord where we were driving somewhere together and he swerved to avoid a like cluster of zombies on the highway. And I learned that day that the cars can flip over and was like, oh no, what do I do? And I got out of the car and immediately died. And I had so many things. And we decided like, okay, it makes a backup every time you like log out and log back in. So it's like, whatever, we're just gonna save scum it. So we save scum it, we get back and we're like, okay, we're gonna go back to where we were. We go back to like the gun store that we were at, and everything's kind of already picked over. Like it didn't save that chunk, it saved it as we had already done it. We went, oh
Wow.
no. Because the whole reason we did the save scumming was because when you die, you make a zombie, you can kill that zombie and get your stuff back.
Right.
But for some
That's cool.
reason it like bugged out and it didn't make me a zombie. And so we couldn't get anything, we couldn't kill that zombie to get any of my stuff back.
No good.
So we're like, okay, whatever. Maybe it's dead on the ground, or maybe she's down there wandering away or something. Like it just maybe it bugged out all weird and she's down there. She wasn't down there. So the most depressing part of that was I lost my Magnum that I found in that gun store that didn't respawn. It was very sad. And we've been to like 2 or 3 other gun stores since then and a huge like hunting store and still no Magnum, and I'm really depressed about it.
Are guns
But just like
super useful in
stupid
that
shit
game?
like that. Huh?
Are guns really useful? Like, don't they attract a lot of zombies in that game?
Yeah, but also they're very useful. So it's like, oh, we have enough ammo. We have enough ammo to sustain ourselves. We have shelves and shelves and shelves and trucks full of ammo, so we can just kind of, carry it around with us. But yeah, the very first time that I shot a gun in this game was because I don't know how to deal with the zombies that are crawling on the ground, and I died to one twice just because they latch onto your ankles and bite you to death. So like there was a crawling zombie near like a hospital that I wanted to go into. And I was like, fuck this. So I got the one gun that I had with like the 2 bullets in it that I had found, and I shot it. And then every zombie in the city came and crowded around the hospital. And I went, okay, I guess I can't go in the hospital now. And it was the whole big thing. But yeah, it makes a gigantic mess. We went to a gas station at one of the other towns that we went to, and I was gonna get out and just because I've taken to making spears, which is basically just me duct taping a knife on the end of a stick. And I was getting out and poking the zombies, and then he started shooting, and then now there's like 80 zombie bobbies on the bottom of that on the floor of that gas station. So yeah, it makes it a gigantic mess. And then I also died there too, so I had to respawn and he had to come save me because I had to spawn in the town that we were in instead of the town where we have all of our supplies and everything. So he had to come rescue me. And then while I was waiting for him to come rescue me, I was like tabbed out or doing something or looking at the map or something like that. And a zombie broke into the house that I was in and killed me again. So I had to go to spawn in a different house that he had to come find. Just a lot of dumb shit like that where I'm just, this is, you're just kind of like, this is a little ridiculous what's happening. I
Can you use
also,
that?
well, what was that?
Can you use the gunshot as like you said you shot it and they surrounded the hospital? Could you use it to like how I'm assuming they're slow zombies. Let's say there
Mhm.
was a building next to the hospital. Could you like shoot in the hospital and quickly book, or not in the hospital, shoot like a building next to the hospital, then book it over to the hospital? That way all the zombies are going to the shot. Then you don't have to worry about, okay, they're all over there trying to get themselves in, and then you can just loot the hospital and then escape on the opposite side or something like that. Like, could you game it
Oh,
that
yeah.
way?
Yeah,
Okay.
you could do it as, like because sometimes what we do, well, now that we're, like, loaded down like a fucking armory, we'll go into a town or we'll go into, like, a neighborhood, and he'll honk the horn on the car, and that draws all of the zombies out of the buildings, and so when you go into a building, there's a chance that if there's no window that you can see into the building, or there's no window on a door, you can't see if there's something in that room. There's been a couple times where I've opened a door and a zombie, like, latches onto me, and I'm like, "Oh, fuck." Especially in the hospital of all places, that was the place that where I got jumped by a zombie. That was horrible and scary, and I panicked. But if you make a lot of noise, it will draw the zombies out of the buildings. So you can, if you're loaded down like the goddamn military like we are, you can just kill all the zombies in the street and then go and loot the buildings relatively safely.
Is
So
there
that's what we
Okay.
do sometimes.
is there like an end state to this game, or are you guaranteed to die?
Um, I mean, you're guaranteed to die at some point because you get complacent, I guess. But
Well, I guess I mean, like, is there actually an
Sure.
end, like a end goal that you like you've won the game, or is it what like I know it's an open world survival game, but I thought it was meant to like dynamically get harder and harder as time went on, just to like
it
eventually kill
gets
you. So is it like you try to go for as long as you can and then you restart and play a new game, or is it like there is an end goal of getting to I don't know even know what it would be,
as
solve
far
the
as I know,
zombie crisis?
there's no like work to this point and then you win the game credits roll type of thing, but it does
Mhm.
get harder in the sense that the longer you're in a single world and the longer you're like playing and you don't die and stuff like that, the world itself gets a little more hostile because the electricity will go out. We had that now where the only building in town that has power is our little fire station because we have a generator hooked up to it, and we have to take a generator with us whenever we go somewhere because you have to power up a gas station to get gas in it. Or like when we went to loot the big like gun hunting store thing, we had to hook a generator up to the building just so we could fucking see what we were doing in every room
Hmm.
without just having to use flashlights constantly. So it gets harder in that sense. And then also like the water will stop at some point. So he's already set up like water collectors on the roof of our building so that when the water does stop, we'll start collecting like water dispensers, the big jugs and go in water dispensers and stuff like that, but we'll also only have like one working sink at some point rather than just the unlimited water that we have right now. So the world itself gets a little more hostile in that sense. Also it gets really disgusting because if you're like us and we go somewhere and you kill a bunch of zombies in one place and your character runs through, they're like, "Oh, this is awful," and then they get sick. So, because it's really stinky and disgusting outside, and then they'll get sick and you have to deal with that. And then also if you're like me, you fall into a hole multiple times and then you have to stitch your leg together and hope it doesn't get infected. If it does get infected, you have to clean it. So it's like the world does get more hostile, on its own. Not necessarily
Hmm.
like it's coming to get you, it just gets more difficult to do things at night because now there's no lights anywhere kind of thing. And also you may run out of supplies at some point because you're I mean, I had to search 2 different towns in order to find needle and thread so that I could fix my jacket, and now my jacket looks stupid because it just got a bunch of big white patches all over it. So it's kinda like its own loop. There's always something pissing you off, and then you have to go and find and do. Um,
So it's kind of
I
just like
can't
The
remember.
Sims and how it goes on.
Yeah, basically. I can't remember what we were doing yesterday. It became a whole big fucking thing. I don't remember. It took us probably 3 days to figure out how to hook a trailer up to a car. And all you have to do is like line them up like you would do in real life kind of thing. And so I finally got a trailer. Oh yeah, burns and fire. I like Molotov cocktails, and I threw one into the group of zombies that was outside the hospital trying to get them to go away and stop. And I was being chased by a zombie that was on fire, and he tried to save me and walked into the fire, and then he was burned for like a week. And his character was limping.
It tried to save
It
you?
just, I mean, you know,
Do you think the zombie was trying to save you?
no, not the zombie. Michael was. He was trying to
Oh,
save me from the flaming zombie.
I thought you meant the zombie tried to save you, and I'm like, all right, you're
Mm-mm.
off the zombie team in the event of an apocalypse.
Drop in, drop out,
Yeah,
or
no, so
multiplayer.
I haven't thrown any cocktails since, but I do have 2 in my duffel bag. So if I ever feel the need to, we just have to make sure that somebody doesn't walk into it. But shit happens. It's whatever. It was just limping for a little while. It's fine. I took care of it. I have a flashlight on the end of my gun, so when we go into places that don't have power, I'm like the point, and I kind of just light the way. I have a crowbar so I can beat down doors, but it just takes a really long time and my character gets tired and then she's really, really upset for a really long time because she's got like severe muscle strain because I tried to break down a bunch of storage doors kind of thing. So just
Gordon
a
Freeman.
little shit. It's a lot of like environmental fun to it. And there
Yeah.
are kind of like world building like stuff in that you can find like letters and I went into the hospital and I found a lot of items that were specifically labeled sad letter. And I was like, okay, I don't think this is fine. It's fine. But he's telling me about this other town that you can go to that like all of the world building stuff that you can find, you can kind of build a story of the town and like what went on there before everybody turned into a zombie kind of thing. So there's little stuff like that, but not really paying attention to any of that. My end goal is to just have a nice little farmhouse next to a little lake that I can go fishing and have a bunch of like bunnies. Oh, I gotta go check the bunnies. That's right. I can have a little bunnies and sheeps and cows, and that's my end game anyway. And to maybe not die because my carpentry is really leveled up right now. So if I die again, I'm gonna be really upset because I'm just gonna have to sit there and read books all day again.
Yeah, I guess because they're like I said, there is drop in, drop out multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of like yeah. So I guess if there was a win condition, I suppose that would be they probably would have to like it'd be weird then if I was to, like just drop in. It's like, oh, we're at the end, or whatever, survive until you get rescued kind of situation. I do
hmm
I get what you mean, Isli, because they're having no win condition. Because I'm just trying to think, like, does Satisfactory have a win condition, or is it just go? Because like a game like Auction Not Included, there is a win condition. There's multiple win conditions, like achievements you can do. Like, okay, I want to do this, but like
Yeah,
getting to the gift
Satisfactory
is
has
the
like
end.
a credits roll task, but you
Okay,
can keep
yes,
playing afterwards. But it does have like a
right.
credits roll task.
Yeah, and Auction Not Included has something like that, and then of course, Factorio has that like originally it's like launching the rocket was like the big end goal, but then you can keep playing. But I do like having an end goal. I don't know if I could thrive in a game where it's just definitive. Like I'm sure I would have
Just
fun
keep playing
for
until
sure.
you're done.
Yeah, but I
I'd struggle with that too, though, because it's like even the open world games I play usually have some form of ending or goal. Like even No Man's Sky is like, get to the
yeah,
center and it all resets, but it has like a goal of get to the
and
center, and
other
then
stories and
and
objectives you can do. Yeah.
yeah, other things now, obviously with DLC, but yeah, an open world game with no ending would
I guess
how do you ever stop playing?
if you could get it to if you could do like a lot of times what some people do for like who don't finish Auction Not Included, like because Auction Not Included, you have to in the new version you have to send a rocket to uh the tear in the center space, like that's the end objective, and there's a lot of steps on the way there. But a lot of people who play Oni will do it where it's like, okay, I have made my base fully self-sufficient with infinitely renewable resources. That's kind of like the loop that you want to get to, and then you move on to like fully sustainability is step one. Usually you do it like food. Okay, my food is fully sustainable. I got to get my resources in check now. It's like, okay, once you get all that, a lot of people are like, okay, that's usually what's like, do I want to do anything else? Do I want to go to another planet? Do I want to do this? Like, but getting to that self-sufficient sustainability bit is kind of like the okay, once I got there, I'm fine, like getting up and running. And I guess if in Project Zomboid, it was like, okay, I've gotten like Zaya was saying, like, okay, I've got a base set up. Again, I'm not fully familiar with all the mechanics of the game, but let's say you got a base set up, you've got your garden, you got all the sustainability stuff. Like obviously it's not automated, you have to do yourself, but it's like I've got defenses, I've got this. We have if the power goes out, then this we know what to do here. Like once you get that point, it's like okay, we're in a good spot. Like the only way I can fail now is if I just go out and explore for whatever reason and just die. But like if I were to stay here, we would be fine. We have water, we have food. We don't need to go. I suppose that would be like okay, and maybe it's like the all the tasks and everything you have to do to get to that point is the challenge. And then just be like, okay, like if we went in there, it'd be like, is okay, let's make a base. We got to get a base up and running or something. Blah blah. We need resources, so we got to get those, and that would be like the end goal. Just getting your base set up and be like, okay, we're good.
hmm
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, basically, that's the thing that like I said, the thing that I'm doing now is I'm just having fun sitting in my little like workshop that I created and just going through the
mm,
crafting menu and crafting a bunch of shit and then going around the fire station collecting things that we just never picked up before to see what I can craft with them. And then when I get tired of that, I'll probably go back into town and just start collecting things again. And then we got to find our perfect little base type of thing. And then after
yeah,
that, it's just whatever we want to do at that point, and just try not to die or fall in holes anymore. And
yeah.
maybe figure out how to stop sprinting into walls because I keep falling on my ass and tripping, and I don't know why. And Michael's insistent that he's never fallen in this game, and I probably fall every 45 seconds. I trip and run into walls, and I don't understand. Don't shake your head at me.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
fun.
making your own end goal.
Hmm.
Like would have to be the way to go for that if you were to play it easily. But because I think it like even a game like 7 Days to Die, like there's no like keep going, but there is like I guess you just get to the point where it's like you just set kind of like personal milestones. It's like okay, we've got all the best gear, we got a best thing, we've automated defenses. So even when the big seventh day comes around, like we're pretty good and like we can survive. Like or you like make it to day X or whatever. But I it's like I guess if what you could do to make that more fun is learn Project Zomboid and then be like, okay, I've got the base mechanics down. I think I'm pretty good. Now we just do it one life to live, and like that's the challenge. Like just hardcore mode
Like
it.
a you did, you
It's-
did. Okay.
Yeah, once you're dead, you're dead. Like I think about that with like with WoW. I was like, I playing WoW Classic or something or something it would be fun if we just did hardcore, like with like a group of friends or something like that. Like these games to try that I've never done. And be like, okay, just one life to go.
Hmm.
But yeah, yeah, I really wish we had a chance to play Big Walk this week. But like I went to go see I was going to see a movie this week with my cousin, but the only show times they had were like late evening showings. I'm like, okay, well, there's my Saturday, and then I played my second game of Warhammer on Friday, but I wasn't sure if the store was going to be open past 8. Because typically they're only open past 8 if like there's one employee there for the Warhammer nights on Tuesdays. He'll stay late, so then they'll those games can run however long. But it turns out like oh there was someone there, so like I by the time I got home it was like 10:30 something like that. I was like okay well can't play now, so I thought like oh if we play till 8 that's fine, get a couple hours in, maybe not get the full turns, maybe take a picture and we could set up next time, and then come home and play some Big Walk because I really wanted to play more Big Walk this week.
I know, me too.
I was listening to some people talk about it because they finally finished it and just like all the fun and praise. I'm like, okay, I can't listen to this too much because I don't want to, even though they're not spoilers, spoiling it. I was like, okay, I don't want to listen to this. I want to experience it. I wish we had more weeknights so we could play it, but
I know. I wish I got home earlier. I want more than an hour a night to do things.
yeah, we'll just have to play next. That's right. So this week, Isli, you'll get it. We'll get up into the point where Zai and I are, and then we could all play together next weekend.
Oh, that's the plan.
That's the
Mhm.
plan. We got to get you up. We got to get you up to speed. Like
Gotcha,
you can go
gotcha.
run off. You lead it, and I'll just be there with you solving puzzles, and then we'll do all the puzzles. You know,
It's probably not as
replay.
fun though if like you already know what the solution is, just because it's like
Well,
you're like, oh, Isli, do it this
I
way.
I would like to do it. It would be fun to do it from the other side of certain puzzles, like
Yeah.
the one where Zai was on the intercom, I was on the light, where I'm on the intercom, you're on the light, or you're doing the I'm looking through the telescope and you're doing the emote, and I have to figure it out, or this and that. Like that would be fun to do. You wear the mask and I don't have to wear it, kind of thing. Uh, Now, I was thinking, I was like, oh, I got about like an hour after the podcast we could probably play them, but I didn't know if everybody. Usually, we all seem to be pretty busy after the podcast on Sundays to play
When are
anything.
you gonna go play Karen?
I played some Karen. I stopped. I just got to get back to it. But then I started playing Talos Principle. Karen, I was kind of like it was in rotation or something else. But I'll go back to Karen at some point. I was playing it. I didn't play. I streamed it for a bit. I got to that point where that you run into that other dude on the hill. And I was exploring like some of the structure on the inside. There's like a big old area. I not like I don't know again how long the game is, but I've done feel like a good little distance so far. But yeah, no, I haven't played too much. Like I said, but I already talked about Talos Principle because I played it Monday and Tuesday, and then I had to prep for. I wanted to get some models ready for my second game of Warhammer, which went well. I actually finished the full 5 turns. We got to call it on the other one, and I kind of conceded the first game because I was like, okay, there's no way I can catch back up at this point. The only problem, and it was a good time, but the only problem I had was like the guy I was playing against was also relatively, I guess, new, maybe to his army or to Warhammer. So like he hasn't had a ton of game time. So there were some things he knew his army pretty well, which is good because that's what you want. You want someone who knows their army, so that way you can explain, all the quirks. Like I'm gonna do something. It's like okay, just remember I can do this if you do this. Yada yada. And he's helpful. Like I was moving a unit that I wasn't going to use at all during the game, but it's like I was like, oh, don't forget when they do this, you can do this because he had the same unit in his roster. But like the way it works now in 11th edition is when you pick your army, you pick like your detachment, which is kind of like each detachment has like special rules. So like it's like picking a class in an RPG, right? Like, okay, I like magic, so I'm gonna play, a mage that does this with this, they have water magic or whatever, blah blah. So it's like, okay, I like to play with vehicles. So you pick the detachment that has bonuses for vehicles or something. And I have one where it's like, okay, it's my guys do a lot of fire. They have flamethrowers. I pick a detachment that's really good for them. Blah blah blah. But detachments have what they call dispositions. It's like this is how you're gonna play in 11th. Before it was like you pick it. Like there are multitude. You can take and hold objectives. You can just purge the foe, which is like you just kill people. But now it's set. Like if you pick this disposition, this detachment, it's this disposition. And then when you go up against someone else, depending on their disposition of the 5 available, it tweaks what your main objective is. Like, okay, they're all pretty much going to be the same. You want to hold your home objective, you want to take the center objective, and you want to take your expansion. And then what you need to do, whatever action you have to do, is going to be slightly different depending on your matchups. So we had a matchup where it's like, okay, it's this, but he must not have been super familiar with it yet in 11th. Like he must have played a lot of 10th edition, or at least more 10th edition. So in turn 1, he described what his mission was. I was like, okay. And then he did actions based on that in his first turn that like cleared off a bunch of these markers off the map, which was related to what we're doing. But it turned out in turn 2 that there was some other guy that was there that's like watching us talking. He was like, clearly he played a lot of Warhammer, and he's like, oh, it's actually like this. And we realized that the way we set up and what happened in turn 1 was wrong. So we put some markers back on the map, and we realized, oh, this is how you do it. And because of that, I had deployed my units in a way that was based on my understanding of the mission to begin with. Because like I would have deployed entirely different. I would have been more aggressive with one particular unit, and so like because of that, the turn 1 confusion kind of messed me up the rest of the game, which is fine because like it's only game 2. I'm not like super like I'll still have fun with the fighting units, doing my side objectives, practicing those, blah blah blah. But yeah, so that was a bummer that like it was there was confusion there. Like had I known, I would have played it differently. But yeah, it was fun. I got to get more aggressive with some of my units. I kind of leave them back too long, especially for a 1,000-point game. I need to be pushing them up more. But yeah, it was fun. We're like I think there's one group playing behind us, but I think they might have been playing a different. Maybe they're playing 30K or something like that. Horse Heresy, but yeah, it was a good time. But yeah, it was because of that couldn't play any big walk, and then yeah, I didn't play too much else because again, I wanted to paint up my units, make sure they were up to a standard that I wanted them if they were going to be on the board, and then yeah, I just got to play more Talos. I'll play it this week. Finish that up, and then I get ready because at the end of this, I do want to play because Ironist Heavy Turret Simulator did come out. And I want to play that. But yeah, I do have Karen I can go back to. And then I think
Yeah,
there's
go
like a
back and
sale.
play Karen. Karen's a good game.
I play Karen. It's just that the problem is like it's a slower game. It's like, okay, figure out, okay, this is I kind of get the loop and it's fun, but I'm like, okay, how is it going to expand on the gameplay mechanics? Uh, this and that. I like the backpack mechanic and shaking it to make room. That's fun. But yeah, I'll go back and play Karen. I don't know if maybe I'll continue streaming Karen. Maybe I'll play Karen off stream. It won't be a stream game anymore. It's a little again. You do a lot more banter, but I kind of want to play something a little more. Actually, man, I watched someone play. They were playing Artorias of the Abyss for Dark Souls 1, which I never played. I never played the DLC for that. And I was like, man, the bosses in that game, like Artorias, the weird chimera boss, the lightning in the water. I was like, they move like future game bosses because my memory of like in rewatching him play some of the main bosses in Dark Souls 1, I'm like, they're slow as hell. But Artorias and the other boss, like they move like quick,
Yup.
like future games.
It also made it really hard when it came out because it was like the first time they moved like that,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone was like, "Dude, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like this
Yeah,
game
like
is not designed for that."
yeah, Arturia's doing little somersault flips and stuff like that. The lightning dude, like, because you're stuck in that slow water, like, move around. And I was like,
Yeah,
man, they were testing, like, could we do quick enemies for the future games in this
for
DLC?
sure.
Yeah.
They
So,
cranked it up, and it was that was one of the DLCs that gave me some of the most trouble in a Souls game.
yeah, so it was fun to watch. Like, I was like, damn, because I never experienced those ones. I was like, this really pretty cool. But yeah, it would be fun to go back and and replay those at some point if I had more game time. Just redo, especially because a lot of the base game bosses are just so goofy. It's like, all right, this would be so easy now compared to all the other ones. Yeah, that's all I had. Again, not a lot, just a little bit of Talos and Warhammer. All right, well, I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up there. So thank you for all tuning in. Thank you, Isli. Thank you, Zara, for joining.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We'll see you all next time.
Later.
Bye.